There you go.
Fantastic. Okay, everyone. Well, first of all, I'd like to thank you guys for joining us. We've been starting to do future self, GPS, and 411s with some of the agents at the office. And we found that it was really beneficial to a lot of people to have just a very simple outline of where they would like to go, where they want to be, and how they can map out their year so that they can be the most successful in whatever goals they want to accomplish. So last week, not last year, Rondell, Dave, and I were actually down at Family Reunion, and Gary Keller had made a speech about a couple of these topics that I just want to give a brief outline and talk a bit more about before we get started. And the first one was having an evergreen mindset, which is really going to play into building out your 1, 3, 5, and 10. And the reason why it's going to help you when thinking about the future is that having an evergreen mindset is knowing that change is inevitable, that the economy has cycles, and that mindset plays a long game. So what we're doing right now might not be what we're going to be doing in a year from now, but it's really having that mindset that you're looking forward into the future and you're building your goals to be long lasting, as opposed to having a situational mindset in which that we're really living in the moment. Right? We're not playing the long game. We're not thinking of how we can build our businesses for the future, and we're constantly being thrown off by change. So, if the market is good, then business is good. And if the market is bad, then business is bad. Well, as opposed to having a long set mind game where if the market is good, then you're still focusing on the activities that are going to lead to success for your business. Secondly, for our next slide, we're going to just talk a bit about the 6 steps of doing more. So this I really found interesting just to hear Gary Keller talk about, because some of these things I think we can pass off as just being mundane, and maybe not that you might have posted on your wall, but a lot of it is just being positive in the moment and being present and seeing the possibility of a positive future. Continually playing offense. So I know in a market that we are, we're in a shifting market. A lot of people right now have had the mindset of, I'm just going to sit back. I'm going to let the market and the economy work its way through, and I'm not going to move forward with my business. What we're hearing from a lot of agents from all over Keller Williams is the fact that this is a really great time to play offense, to move forward, and to have those conversations with potential clients. Secondly, is listening more than ever. One of the things we've been hearing a lot is that whoever is speaking the most in a conversation is actually going to get the most out of that conversation. So when you're actually having conversations with your clients, make sure you're having, I think it says often, office. Sorry, guys. Continually play office. So essentially what it is that you're looking for people who you're looking to dictate the conversation and steer it in the right direction, but making sure that you're letting the clients do the majority of the talking so you know how to service their wants and needs. Fourth is going to be living outside of your comfort zone. And I'm sure this is applicable to everyone. For myself, sometimes it's just getting on the phone and having conversations with people I've never met. But then the more I get into those habits and the more I'm living outside of my comfort zone, those start to be my comfort zone, and I need to look at pushing myself more forward. Fifth is focusing on what you can control, and 6 is having certainty in uncertain times. And these 2 parts are going to play into creating a GPS and to a 411. Next slide. And then we're going to do one more quick talk, and then Rondell is going to take it away with his 1, 3, 5. So taking a hard look at your model is, one, looking at where everyone on this call is strong. What are your guys' strengths? The second is going to be looking at where you're weak, right? If cold calling, if door knocking, if relationship building, where are areas in your business that you want to focus on? And when we get into creating a GPS, one of your priorities could be focusing on areas of your weakness and learning ways to strengthen. Third is, who can we copy? who here is in the Toronto market, who's successful at the office, who can I learn from, who can be a mentor, and if success leaves clues is a very big Kellerism. So where can we look for people that we can learn and improve from, right? Where can we win? And lastly, it's what's the goal and what's the plan that we can rally to. And that is a big part of what we're going to be looking for today, and what we're going to be giving you guys the opportunity to start making your own GPS, start making your own 401s, and start making your own future self. I will say I've seen a lot of future selves. Rondell's is fantastic. I myself struggled a bit with figuring out how to map my road of what the future would look like. And from going through it with Rondell, it really opened my eyes to the possibilities. So without further ado, Rondell, I'd love for you to take it away.
So we'll jump to the next slide. Who in the room has ever done a vision board? I'm going to guess that quite a few of you have. This is similar to what a vision board is, but we call it a future self, right? So you see where it says 1, 3, 5, 10. Joby, do you have my document up there as well?
Sorry, Rondell. Let me just check on my end. I'm not so sure. I think Ren.
Yeah, I sent it to Ren. Do you want me to share my screen?
Yes, please. You can do it.
Okay. Absolutely. So I'm going to share my screen here and pull up my future self, which is, one second, guys. Here we go. Can you guys all see this really clearly? So what a future self is, it's similar to what a vision board is. Now, we showed you a 1, 3, 5, and 10. Mine goes a bit further. It goes down to 20 years. So I'm a very planning type of person. I've been planning my life. I mean, oh my gosh, 2 years before I got married. So what this does is it helps you focus what's important to you, and you break them down into categories, but you also make it very, very, very real. So I have a few categories that are very important to me. So my faith and my spirituality, my health and my wellness, my personal growth, friends and family, fun, business, and wealth, right? And then I forward down through the years. So 1 year from now, who are the people that are in my life? And I even include their ages. So my wife, my 2 girls, 3 years down the line, who are they and how old they are? 5 years down, 10 years down, and even 20 years down. And the idea is, what you want to do is you want to map out what's important for you to accomplish throughout every single category throughout the years. So it's very simple. So you'll see, for me, go to church weekly, make prayer a daily habit, reread the Bible. This is for next year. Reread the Bible, keep a spiritual journal, giving through tithes and charity. On my health side, don't laugh, guys. Follow a keto lifestyle, regular fitness 4 to 5 times a week, get adequate sleep, make water my primary beverage. Again, don't laugh. Lose 10 pounds and lose 10 pounds of fat and replace it with muscle. These are all my priorities. And then you go through each one, right? And by doing this and actually physically write it down, this is actually my desktop here, guys. I see this every single day. So these are not wishes and aspirations that I tell myself on December 31st and hope for the best. I actually gauge each and every one of these, and then I break them down further as to how am I going to do this. So little silly things like you see here in 2025, it says start fund for 50 year, start fund for 50-year fund and plan the party of parties. That's my birthday. So I'm going to be planning the party of parties when I become 50 years old. So I map this out and I rigorously review it, believe it or not, almost every quarter to see how, I can't see you guys, to see how I'm progressing with my future self. Has any of you ever gone ahead and started something like this? Anyone can speak up. You can unmute.
No.
No? Have you done a vision board before?
Yes.
Yeah, so vision boards are fun, right? You get to put up pictures and you put it up on the Bristol board and it's beautiful and they're all hopes and aspirations. But in my personal opinion, they're great, but they're not detailed and they don't lead into what I would call a smart goal or a smart plan or a process of how to get there. And that's what Dave will talk about next, I believe, a 135. But yeah, I strongly encourage all of you to start considering future planning your life and go through the years. You don't have to go as far as I am in 20 years, but you can start with a 1, a 3, a 5, and a 10 and start building this out. Put in the categories that matter to you the most and put in what you want to accomplish throughout those categories throughout the years and start building. And you know what? If you're married, if you have a girlfriend, a fiance, give one to them as well. Let them build it out too. Do it together and map it out. You have any questions on that? You guys are a quiet bunch.
Can you share yours, Rondell?
I can share mine if no one criticizes what's in there. This is all personal to me, but absolutely. I'm sure, Joby, you can share this with the group of people participating today, and everyone will get a blank copy as well. But anyone is free to look at mine. There's no shame in my game.
Great.
What's next? Where's the other slide? I stopped sharing.
No, that's brilliant, Rondell. So, with just to dial back a bit, if we can go one slide back, are there any questions you might have for Rondell or areas that maybe any specifics, any things you'd want to learn further before we move on? Is this something everyone would be interested in doing? Do you see the value of having an idea of what the future looks like?
And I would even reiterate, these have to be very specific things that you want to do, not fluffy. Almost make it like a SMART goal. Make them specific in what time and what amount. Make it realistic, right? And be very detailed with this. And the more you do it and the more you look at it, the more it becomes a reality and the more you work towards it. It's always easier to work towards a goal that you know that you set and you want to implement rather than just some pie in the sky pipe dream.
We have Andrew. Andrew, okay, amazing. So next we have the one thing. So maybe show of hands of anybody that has done a business plan for 2023. Show of hands, some likes, some thumbs up. Have we all looked at our business plans? Yes, no. So one thing that just makes everything a lot easier for you is we thought that it would be great for, everyone wants to make a comprehensive business plan, but we want to have something that's very easy to look at. And it's like a GPS for our car, right? It's going to give us guidance. It's going to give us direction to where we are going and essentially how we're going to get there in the simplest format. So one of the things we have is a simple printout of what is your one goal in 2023, that by achieving this, everything else will fall into place. For some of you, it might be, I want to do 300,000 in GCI. I want to do 200,000, 100,000. Does anyone feel comfortable sharing one solid goal that they have for this year that they might look at potentially putting on their one goal? Any goers? Anyone feeling brave? Thoughts?
I can share.
Amy?
I can share really quick. Sorry, my video is off because I've been sick, but my goal is 400,000 in GCI and hiring an admin. Those are my two big things in order to make everything happen.
Okay, brilliant. I love that. Thank you for sharing, Amy. Okay, so for this exercise then, everyone would have their one thing, so they'd have their set GCI, right? With this example, we might have 400,000, and then we're gonna have the 3 priorities, which is essentially gonna put everything in place for you to hit your goals. So if you're looking at hitting something like 400,000, priority number 1 might be having X amount of listings, right? So generally for the 3 of what I've seen from top realtors is that priority number 1 is going to be focusing on the listing side, right? Do I want 10 listings? Do I want 20? Do I want 30? And then priority number 2 is going to be on the sell side, or sorry, on the purchase side. So we have all of your listings, all of your purchases, and then priority number 3 is kind of where you can be a little bit unique. So for Amy, with hiring an assistant, that could be your priority number 3, and then you're going to outline your 5 strategies. So one thing might be, Amy, are you in energy or experience or
Energy.
energy? Okay, so there's several tools that we have available for that. So one might be attending a career visioning course that we have coming up. Number 2 might be looking through a KPA, right? Sending out feelers. So through this, because that's a perfect example of what you could use as a strategy number 3. So and then what you want to do is you want to look at what 5 strategies based on the priorities am I going to have, right? So let's say if it was going to be listings, you might want to look at growing your database, right? And then by how many people are you going to grow your database by? Another strategy could be farming my area for appointments, or even just reaching out to people in your clientele. Are you circle prospecting? So these are all really up to you to go dive deep and to figure out what makes the most sense for your business. But at the end of the day, this can be a super quick exercise that you can put together to just have a bit of a roadmap of where you want to go, how you want to get there, and then it can be just posted on your wall and it can be here for you to see every single day. So yeah, that's generally how a 1-3-5 looks like. And that's the fundamental steps of getting it done. Now, then what you want to do is with your 1-3-5 is that you want to put it into action from a 4-1-1, which is what we're going to move on to next.
Great. Thank you, Sean. So as you can see, we've got a worksheet on the screen. I want to start a little bit of interaction with the team. Maybe put in the comments section if you've done a 4-1-1 already. Has anyone done a 4-1-1? No to Tina. So everyone else has done one? Oh, working on one. Working on my, excellent. Okay, we're going to go for bonus points here. How many of those that have done it do it on a weekly basis? Let's see a yes or no there for bonus points. I don't see anyone. So I guess by default then, you're not having your team members do a 4-1-1. So I guess the question would be, what sort of result do you think you would be achieving if everyone on your team knew their one thing, set up their 4-1-1, and that was the first thing they focused on every day? What sort of results do you think we could be achieving? Anyone want to add a note to the chat box?
Quiet
So
bunch.
no takers, eh? No takers. That's okay. I'm thinking on a personal basis of our team here at Experience was doing that on a weekly basis. All the team members were doing it and updating it weekly, that we could have a powerful impact on our results. So let's dive into the 4-1-1. So what does it stand for? So basically it's 4 weeks. You can see that along the bottom. In the middle is 1 month and 1 year. So it's really a systematic way to break down your goals into weekly, monthly, and yearly priorities. And when you're actively using it, it becomes a tool that you can access at any time. Some people who are really keen on it even print it off and have it in front of them to access and determine what matters the most in their day. So let's dive into the template itself. So as you can see, there's 2 sides. They've included the business side as well as the personal.
Mm-hmm.
And why that's important. Why that's important is because we're people, right? We've got, along with all the work, great work that we do at the office or in our community, we've got personal goals. And that fits back to some of the things that Rondell was talking about with the visioning exercise. So really important that we incorporate both into our worksheet and into our goal setting. And often what leaders find is that when we leave out the personal side, we're really missing an important element. And often when people leave an organization, it's because they're not having their personal goals met. So as a leader, really important that you work on that with your team and work with them to determine what's important in their life along with their work, and you can accommodate for that and make sure that it's a well-rounded fulfillment of their priorities. So when we set up these annual priorities, what we want to do is we don't want to look at all our to-dos. You know, you might have a list of, let's say, 100 to-dos. What we want to focus on are the top 20% that are going to get us the 80% of our results. And then when we have that, we need to break it out and see how that fits each week and each month, so that we know we're on track to achieve those. And the key is that it's not something that you set and forget, which is often a temptation. You have this great idea, you do it once, and it kind of sits in a file. It's something that ideally you want to be reviewing every week. So at the end of the week, you want to sit down and do an evaluation and see, how did I do? What was I able to accomplish based on what I've included in my 411? And what do I need to change or adjust to the plan for the next week? So it becomes a living, breathing document. Again, it's not something you do once and file away. And next slide, please.
A 4-1 should be done every week. Absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you for that, Rhonda. So basically what we're trying to do is set you up for success. So the first thing you want to be doing is identify the key activities that will really drive your results. What are the things that you can do that are going to help you hit that home run? And a term that's been used is defining it as a success list. So it's not just a list of, again, to-dos. What are the items on that list that are going to help you achieve your success? The next thing you want to do is make sure that you've got them set in priority. So if I could only do one thing today, this week, this month, that's my number one priority. So figure out what that is and then work down the list, right? And then a key part of it, of course, is something that we all know about at Keller Williams, but it's time blocking. So your planner, your schedule, make sure that you're mapping out and blocking out time to incorporate and focus on these priorities. And next. So wanted to give little bit of an example here. So the first thing you should do is start by creating a list. So again, what are these 5 success factors, 4 or 5 success factors? Start by listing them out. And then the next thing is to be asking yourself, again, so what is the one thing, if I only had time to do one thing, what would it be? And what that helps you do is to prioritize and determine what is the one thing I need to focus on, what is number 2, 3, and 4. And then we'll go on to the next slide. And here, again, asking what's going to drive results, and then if it's vague in this case, you know, what do I need to do? How do I need to expand on it? And Rondell used the term SMART goals. So how do I make it SMART? So let's dive to the next slide. So here I've given an example. So you want to increase retention by 30%. So number one is again, it's a professional annual goal. You want to have 30 meetings with the top 20% of your customers by March 31st. So again, there's a SMART goal, right? Then you want to break it down. You want a time block in your schedule for 30 customer meetings. And the way you can do that is break it down again on a weekly basis, set 2-hour time blocks each week where you're scheduling 10 customer meetings. So there you're breaking it down, you're making it SMART, you're taking it from an annual to a monthly to a weekly basis. And it can be as simple as that. And then once you've done that with your first goal, do it again with your second goal and your third and your fourth. Generally, what you're doing is you're thinking big. So, you know, again, what is the one thing that's going to have an impact for me? And then you work down to specific activities and again, be specific. And I guess the other key is start by filling it out. It's not going to be perfect the first time, but once you get into the rhythm on it and you're doing it on a weekly basis, you're going to get more adept at it. It's going to be easier for you to complete each week. So next slide, please. So this is just a little summary then, or a recap on the 411. So again, pick one side to start. So either the professional or the personal side, whichever is the most important for you, and start there. Make a list of the most important things you could accomplish between now and the end of the year. It's still early in the year. Again, prioritize them. If I only had time to do one thing, what would it be? And then refine your annual priority. So it's SMART. And then I identify, again, the one thing you need to accomplish this month to be on track for the year. And then for this week, and keep repeating it for each of the top 4 or 5. And to make sure you're on track and make sure it's happening, time block your weekly priorities. So that's my take on the 411.
Very well done.
Thank you.
All right, brilliant. Amazing. Well, so what we really wanted to do today for our class is really give everyone an outline of where they want to see themselves in their personal life, in their business, in their wealth, and really planning to look beyond, right? Thinking about what do you want your 1 year to look like? What do you want your 3 years, your 5 years, your 10 years, and your 20?
20.
And sometimes with Rondell, you can even see that you can look even as far into your 20 year. And then we wanted to get specific. So we have our one goal. What's our one thing we need to accomplish? What are our 3 priorities and our 5 strategies that we need to do to make it happen? And then as we saw as we ended it, was what do we need to do every single week to make sure that every month we hit our goals, so that every year we've hit our goals sequentially. Should we open up to the floor, some questions? What our game plan is moving forward is Joby is going to have everyone's emails, and we're going to send everybody out. So you guys all have your 1, 3, 5, and 10. You're all going to have your GPS, and you're all going to have your 411 worksheets to start to fill out.
So I like all of this, right? But we said a few words in there that I want to reiterate. Being proactive, actually planning things out, and also mapping things out, but also being accountable to yourself, right? And these tools will help you do that and set focus.
Yeah, and I'll add to that. They can be really easy tools to use. I'm new to the organization. I've been exposed to the 411, but really for this presentation needed to look at it in detail. And I was going through it this morning and I found a really good set of tools. One was a YouTube presentation that we'll include. Watched it once and was able to pick it up very quickly. And you know, along with it being simple, they're very powerful tools. When you take the time to use them, they can have a real impact on focusing your work, your business, and your priorities. And as we talked about, make it an active exercise. It's not something you do once and you file away. Make it a priority to, you know, with the 411, be doing it on a weekly basis, updating it, refining it, building on it, and then working up to the GPS and the visioning as well. So, yeah,
And I would encourage you to come in. I was going to say, Dave, and I will encourage you to come in and I'll review it with you.
Right.
I'll help you build it to make sure that you're putting in SMART goals.
Yeah. And I'll share a personal experience with it. There's one agent that I've been working with from Revel. I'm trying to bring over. Diane knows her. And through a first session that we had with her, it quickly became apparent that she isn't doing this sort of work. And so she's really excited. We're having a meeting tomorrow and we're going to work through all three of these tools to help her set her priorities and her goals for the year. Really, the term that she used, actually, she's flying by the seat of her pants. She's doing well, but we're thinking she can be doing 2 or 3 times the level of business that she's been able to achieve just by taking that non-focused, non-planning approach. So.
Okay, fantastic, everyone. So yeah, as Rondell mentioned, we can all personally take time to review all of your 411s, all of your GPSs, and your future self. Joby is going to make sure that she can send all of that to you guys. We can review it. We can be your accountability partner to make sure that you're successful. So I'd love to end it on that. Do we have any last comments, takeaways, action plans? Anything else from you guys that you'd like to contribute? Going once, going twice. Tina.
No, but thank you very much because this is all new to me. So I appreciate this and I can't wait to get started.
Yeah. And Sean, you made a really important comment there. Your accountability partner, right? It can be helpful to have someone working with you and helping you do that follow-up, right? Schedule a monthly meeting, and I know I'm doing a number of those with the team. Use your team leader as that accountability partner. It's great to have someone, interacting with you, working with you, helping you stay on track with your goals.
Fantastic. Michael, of course, family union speech was great. Thank you for that note. All right, thank you guys. Thank you everyone. Lori?
Before we go, I want to plug our Agent Mastermind, which is coming up on March 13th here at the market centers. I would love to see all of you here. I would love to see you invite your peers who are not on this call. There's a lot of valuable, really good information that we would like to share with you guys to help boost your business and help you get off the ground to a great, well, it's already a start to the new year, but really get you moving. So I encourage you guys all to show up to the Agent Mastermind on March 13th. Come out, invite your friends, and let's learn and grow together.
So I'll throw this out. Would it be valuable to reconvene in a month's time and maybe have some folks share their the work that they've done, the highlights, what they've been able to achieve by doing it, what lessons they've learned that they could share with some of the others? Would that be helpful?
I'm always open to
I'm
anyone.
always for it, yeah.
Good. Yeah, let's plan that then. So, great.
Round two.
Round two. It's a ongoing process. Yeah. So,
Does anyone have any questions or anything before we depart and on the way?
I'll just speak up really quick. It kind of doesn't relate to this, but it's kind of maybe the next step after this. The one thing that I like more information on, maybe you guys can help, maybe you can't, is figuring out kind of budgeting. After, like, you get your goals in place and you have your plan, and everybody's obviously going to be different with what their goals are, but how do you budget to help make or reach that end goal, right? So, you know, is there kind of a template or a guide that some people may say, you know what, I focus just on my sphere of people and I don't advertise a whole lot. I just focus on my sphere and I budget X amount of dollars for, maybe it's 10% for advertising and my take home is 50%, because we always talk about the GCI, which is fantastic, right? And it always sounds like such a big number, but at the end of the day, I think the reality is some people have a great big GCI, but their take home is actually not that much because they may be spending a lot on CRM or on advertising or events or different things. So I don't know if there's any kind of further education to help with that element or put some of that into perspective.
Brilliant. I was going to say something, but I saw Diane is unmuted.
You want me to speak to that?
Yep.
I think that's an excellent question, Amy, and I think it's one that every sales rep in Keller Williams should ask themselves. And I think probably 95% aren't paying attention to it, honestly. We would be happy to add the financial accountability to that, knowing that some people are budgeting far more than others. But what we'll do is we'll take the MREA model and we'll bring that to the next session that we have. And then we'll talk about the goals. We'll talk about the 411. We'll see how everybody's doing with it. And then we'll look at the financials, and then we'll look at the bookkeeping, which is another follow-up to the financials. I mean, you can say that you're going to do that, but if at the end of the year you have a bag full of receipts, it's a little bit scary, So we'll talk about that at the next meeting. Okay, guys?
Yeah, that would be awesome. Thank you.
That'd be wonderful. I'm glad you brought it up, Amy. It's the next step to success, honestly.
Yeah.
Okay.
okay, yeah.
Guys, thank you all.
All right, guys. Well, yeah, we'll schedule session 2 for next month. Look forward
Not
to
April 1st, though. That's April Fool's.
April.
No, we'll really do it. We'll really do it Wednesday, April 1st. We're doing it.
Isn't that weird how the months this year and the days are lining up? Wednesday, March 1st, Wednesday. April. Isn't that
And
crazy?
tell other agents about your experience on this call, because we want everyone to hear the message. We want goals, and we want 411s, and we want future selves. We want everyone to hear the message that we're leading here.
Yeah.
Everybody on the same page, but with different goals. It's exciting.
Mhm.
Yep.
Amy, thank you so much for sharing your goals, and I'm very confident you're going to be able to hit them. And most importantly, we'll make sure the financials make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Awesome.
Have a great
Thanks,
afternoon.
everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
Tina.